of these days, Canva and I are going to be friends. And that's going to be like the best, timeless, seamless. You'll never know that I struggle behind the scenes to get that darn thing. Stop playing. Happy February, everyone. It is my birthday month. It is my twins' birthday month. It's VIP member appreciation month. And it's the month of love. And I love seeing all of you here. Yes, I am on really early. Well, really early, 5 minutes. That's early in my world. But I'm going to bring on a very special and familiar face. And we are going to do the VIP member appreciation giveaway number one because it is VIP member appreciation month. I have an amazing singing voice. Did you know that, June? Did you know that? You guys all got to learn it. I make up songs and I sing them wonderfully. June, what are we giving away to all of our amazing VIP members tonight?
Julie, I am so excited to see you. Thank you, ladies, for joining us for the February National Virtual Gathering. However, as you may know, this month is our VIP member appreciation. Our very invested partners are all entered to win. Each week in February, we will be drawing 2 names for amazing prizes sponsored by Roots and Harvest. And each Wednesday at 8 p.m., we will have this drawing. And so make sure you tune in for the video. So I wanted to take just a quick minute to thank all of our very invested partners for your support of what we're doing in this organization. Now, to the good stuff. Roots and Harvest, they are just so amazing. They have offered each winner will get a choice between 2 fabulous gifts. So you have to choose one, and the choices are a Sure Seal vacuum sealer or the amazing multi-purpose ultrasonic cleaner. And
How do
both
you
of these
pick
are,
between those? How would
I
you
know,
pick, June?
they're both so amazing. So when you get your name drawn, watch for an email from me, and I will confirm your mailing address, as well as ask which one you choose. So, with all of that out of the way, let's pick our first 2 winners.
We're going to see if this wheel will actually work because let me tell you, there are lots of names on here, June. There are lots of names.
We have
All right,
almost 900 VIPs.
let's see, 896. Like,
Yep.
holy cow. Holy cow, you guys are awesome. We would not
Thank
be
you
here
so much,
doing what
Roots
we
and
are
Harvest.
doing without you all. It's awesome. Okay, let's spin this baby. Let's see if it spins. I can tell you a name if I wanted to. I'm not even sure how it knows. Susan Smith? Yes.
Yay, Susan.
Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to remove you, not because I don't love you, but because you don't get to win twice. There we go. Okay, let's spin this baby again since we know it works. That's helpful. Ooh, Leslie Cushing. Congratulations, Leslie. Yay.
Yay.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Move, stop
Thank you
share.
so much to Roots and for those amazing prizes for all of our ladies this month. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, thank you. But we're only like 1 minute ahead of schedule, which win for me because I am never on time no matter where I go. So yay, that is one. I am so excited for you guys to be here. It is going to be a fantastic month. We have so much tonight. I don't even know how to describe all the things we have. We have obviously we have Cindy coming on. Obviously we have Brooke coming on, but we also have 2 special guests tonight. We have one of our amazing board members that's going to come talk to you all. And then we have a very special featured sponsor tonight. And I'm very excited. Very excited. If you were here for my amazing waiting screen, you'll know who it is, but I'm not going to give it away yet. I'm not, because I got to speak to him for a moment, and I know he's going to surprise and shock and amaze all of you as much as Brooke is going to. So it's going to be a fantastic evening. I already know it. So welcome. It is now 7. You're welcome for my spiel there before. Welcome to the National Virtual Gathering for February 2024. We have so much to talk about tonight, so I will not sit here and jibber jabber for too long, but you all know I'd like to see where you're from. We have so many people registered for tonight. I can't wait to see how many attendees that we end up with. We had like over 170 people registered for tonight, so I'm really excited for tonight. It's going to be awesome. So we've got, let's see, I'm going to go in my brain and talk through things that you may or may not know about. So number 1, we have our webinar. There we go, Julie, spit words out. Tonight we do a webinar format. So most of us have now experienced Zoom for longer than we ever thought we would. For our webinar format, I am sitting here talking to my pretty face, and that's it. I can't see you all. I don't know what you're doing. If you're in your pajamas, if you're running errands, if you're sitting outside drinking a cup of tea, I have no idea. But because of that, I need you all to use that question and answer function on our little bar at the bottom. That will help with numbers of things. Brooke, our awesome speaker tonight, she has spoken for us before on meat rabbits, but obviously tonight she's going to do culinary wellness. She is going to answer your questions throughout the presentation. So use that Q&A function so that your questions don't get lost. I love that you all use the chat to conversate back and forth, but it moves so fast that I can't always keep up with the questions. So use that Q&A function just so that everyone knows we can get all of our questions answered. Brooke's going to answer them as she goes through her presentation. So there's number 1. Number 2, we have a virtual gathering the first Wednesday of every month. So those are all listed on our website. Go check them out. Register for the ones that are interesting to you, or register for all of them so we can hang out every month. They are on our website. Register, come hang out with us. The first Wednesday of every month, I shall be here with an amazing group of people. My other thing I want to talk to you all about is YouTube. We are really trying to ramp up our YouTube. It's a new skill for me. I feel like I should know more of it since I am in my mid-30s, but I am learning it. Go along. So make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It has all of our previous gatherings on there from like January 2021. We have them all on there. So if you don't know, we do have a YouTube channel. It's on there. Now, with that said, if you are a very invested partner, 1, we're still celebrating you this month. Thank you so much for making what we do possible. Number 2, you special VIP people get early access. So tonight's gathering will be uploaded to our website in the VIP members only section for your viewing for the rest of the month. If you are not a VIP member, no worries. You just have to wait until the next month, the first Wednesday of that month. And I want to say that's March 6th is our gathering because the weeks are all thrown off with a later date. That's my sister's birthday. So you will have access to it on YouTube then. I'm going to be working on making some fun shorts and doing all kinds of things. So we have lots of stuff going on. I'm very excited for this season, year, all of the things. I'm always excited. And because I'm always excited with National Ladies Homestead Gathering, I have an amazing person that wants to tell you all about why I get to sit here and do what I'm doing. Cindy, why do we do what we do? Who are we? What is this thing?
And happy pre-birthday.
Yeah.
There you go. And Ginny's birthday is this month too. Okay, the reason that we are on here, the purpose for the National Ladies Homestead Gathering is to empower women through homesteading. And I can tell you over the last 13 years, I have seen it over and over and over again. So I can matter-of-factly say, yes, we do empower women through homesteading. And how do we do that? Within our chapters that are all over the country and here on the National Virtual Gathering, we share knowledge, we build community, and we grow friendships. So that's our whole reason for being here and our why. So Julie, back to you, and thank you so much for all you're doing tonight to make such a fabulous national virtual gathering.
Cindy, yes. What we do is so much fun. I love it. And if you want to be a part of this, not just on the first Wednesday of every month, we do have a private online community. It is awesome. It's tons of fun. You can find a local chapter. You can join lots of chapters. I have joined lots of personal chapters. And then there's a whole national conversation. It has really opened my eyes to the amount of options we have in homesteading, right? We get to do stuff at home instead of going to the store, but there's so many ways to do things at home. I finally rendered some fat I've had in the freezer from my favorite cow that we had to butcher. I finally did it, and I've made candles, and I feel so proud of myself, but I would not have done that without you all. So speaking of our private online community and all of our amazing community members, June, these Atta girls that I make you do every single month because they are one of my favorite parts of life in general.
Thank you, Julie. Yes, we share each month a post asking for your Atta girls. What have you accomplished? What did you try? May have been a fail, but you tried something. So we can encourage each other and be inspired. So Beth shared, I've been decluttering and purging things. No cabinet is going untouched. Also, Tina said she cleared out the freezers and now has 14 cases of pint jars of meat on the shelves. She also added 26 and a half quarts to her stock. All the tinctures are strained, bottled, and labeled. Kitchen renovation completed, and found our off-grid North Idaho cabin and enclosing. Oh my goodness. Atta girl Tina, Atta girl ladies, Julie has made freshly milled grain wheat bread, also making sourdough bread, trimming her elderberries, and has sweet potato slips growing. Atta girl. Nicole is also starting seeds indoors for the first time. Atta girl, Nicole. Jenna got their garden reset and ready for planting. They went bigger than ever this year, and they're trying the no dig method. So I'm looking forward to follow up on that as well. Thank you, ladies, for sharing that in our online forum.
Yes, it's always fun for me to see what you guys are doing because we live in so many different parts of the United States. It's different what can be started now, what cannot be started now, what you guys are up to in this quote unquote off season. I always think when we're going into an off season, though it's not anymore because it's February, that we slow down, but we don't. We just find more projects to do. Okay, as promised, I have lots of fun guests. So I have our board member on tonight. And you all may not know that we have board members because I've never brought the amazing Jenny on. But Jenny is here to talk to us tonight. Jenny and I share a birthday. So yes, it is her birthday month. We're both Valentine's babies because we're amazing that way. We are absolutely amazing that way. So Jenny, I'm so excited that you're here today. I know that you are going to talk to us about our board, and maybe we can find some new board members for you.
That would be wonderful. And you can tell that we're born on Valentine's Day because we're both such sweethearts. I'm here today to talk about another way that you can join us in helping this organization. We have a board of directors, of which I am currently the president. And it has several different positions. I think there's a total of 7 positions called for. And then we have our executive team, and we are looking to expand our executive team. We have some new positions that are vacant right now, and we're looking for people to put themselves out there and help us with whatever wonderful skills you have. I know we have all different kinds of skills in this group, and it'd be really great if we could tap into some of those to help with at the national level. And if you're in backwater wherever. We do everything virtually, so it's not a problem for you to participate virtually. Of course, we work with the time unit, so time whatever. As far as the executive team, we need an operations director to manage the day-to-day operations of the team. We need a technology director. We need an education director, and we need a fundraising director. And I'll tell you in just a minute how you can let us know that you're interested, okay? As far as the board, we are about to have all of our positions vacant. We really need a secretary, and we really need a treasurer. But we also have openings for a fundraising director, a marketing director, a membership director, and a communications director. And if you have any questions about what these folks do, you can let me know, and I will, we have job descriptions for everybody, and I will go over that with you. The way to do this is we have a new, let me see if I can do this. We have a new application. There we go. That we are taking applicants, and then we will do see if we can fit you to a certain specific skill set, but we do interviews, and so we will set up interviews and tell you all about the positions. If you don't know what you want to do, but you just want to help, that's fine. We can go over all the different positions with you and find what suits you best, what you feel most comfortable with. So let me stop sharing. There we go. We're going to figure out how to get these applications to you. Hopefully, there'll be a link on the website for them. But in the meantime, if you are interested, I will put my email in the chat, and you can get in touch with me and let me know that you're interested. And now I'll turn it back over to Julie.
Thank you, Jenny. I agree with Jenny. We have so many talented women in here. We have over 60 women already in here. And as someone who is like, there's really nothing I can do. One, there's always something you can do. So come hang out with us. And then two, it really gives you a chance to improve your skills. Now, I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but from joining NLHG and then on my local board and then on the executive board, or executive staff, excuse me, I have learned all kinds of new skills that has acquired me several new jobs. So I think it's fun. Come hang out with us, guys. I promise. Guys, I shouldn't call you guys. I should call you gals. But it's a habit. I apologize. So now that I've said all of that,
And we're a really fun group. So
we are a really fun group,
know.
Jenny. Yes, we are. It's a great mix of women. It really, really is. Now, I will say one thing. The next person you're going to see is not a woman, but I'm really excited he's here. Michael, what are you doing, buddy? I know he's super, super excited to hang out with over women. 65 women are here to see you, Michael.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very grateful and honored to be here. Thank you for having me this evening. My name is Michael Sillick. I jokingly refer to myself as the Chief Mineral Officer for our family organization, SeaAgri Solutions. And SeaAgri Solutions is an ocean mineral and sea salt company, and I'm really excited to share more about that with you. I'm going to share my screen here, but you can see behind me just before my video goes away. These are retention ponds, and this is actually an area in the Baja part of Mexico where we create and harvest our unique sea salts. So I'm excited to share more about that with you momentarily. Let me see if I can get the slideshow going. Is that working? All right, I'm gonna.
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect.
can-
Excellent. Okay. Good evening again. Very excited and grateful to have the opportunity to share more about C90, which is our agriculture brand, and BajaGold, which is our human health and wellness brand. And at SeaAgri Solutions, our overall purpose is to improve our collective health and wellness. And we know, because of how involved we are with both agriculture and human health and wellness, that all of these facets of our world are so interrelated. And you gals know this, of course, as homesteaders. Our soil health leads to our plant and our animal health, and all three of those play such a key role in our family's human health as well. So tonight there's going to be three key takeaways from tonight's presentation. The first thing is that oceans are an incredible source of vitality. The second thing is that not all salts are created equal. And the third thing is going to be that human nutrition is directly tied into human health. And I'm going to move through this a little bit quickly, but I will share some additional resources at the end if you're interested in learning more. And I say that because I want to introduce a gentleman named Dr. Maynard Murray, who actually wrote an entire book on the subject I'm going to talk about for a quick 10 or 15 minutes here. So Dr. Maynard Murray was a medical doctor. He was an ear, nose, and throat specialist who discovered this concept of sea energy agriculture. And sea energy agriculture is the pioneering principle around C90 ocean minerals and around this concept of using ocean water and the vitality of the ocean to bring minerals and trace elements back into our soils and back into our plant health and our animal health. Dr. Murray was a really interesting individual. Again, he started as a human health doctor, and ultimately he actually gave a keynote presentation at Acres in 1976. So he had quite an array of background and research and really traveled the world learning things and sharing those learnings with people all over the world. So what were some of those things that he learned? Dr. Murray in the 1940s and 50s, he saw all around us was this incredible period of technological evolution and advancement, but he found that the patients he was seeing at the time, he was dismayed by what he considered to be a decline in overall human health. It seemed as though the patients that he continued to see would get sicker and sicker. There was a significant increase in degenerative diseases, cancers, cellular diseases, et cetera. And so Dr. Murray sought to kind of understand exactly what was going on in the world. And what he found is that there's significant land life challenges based on the overall health and quality of the food supply. So Dr. Murray discovered that some of the conventional agriculture practices at the time were resulting in soil erosion, and they were resulting in a food supply chain that was not nearly as nutrient dense as it had been several decades prior. So if you measured the magnesium quantity in milk, for example, it was significantly lower than it used to be. The overall mineral content in our cereal grains and other food supplies had declined versus prior years. Along the same period of time, Dr. Murray also started paying attention to ocean life and marine life. And he found that the oceans they had this unique healing power. And both land-based life and then more importantly, marine life that lived within ocean water tended to live longer, healthier lives. They also didn't have the rate of cancers and other cellular diseases that land-based animals had. And he kind of said to himself, well, I wonder why this is. Is there something about ocean water that makes this possible? And around that same period of time, again, this is the 40s and 50s, several scientists had discovered that ocean water, previously known just as salt water, was actually not just salt water. It was a combination of all of nature's minerals and trace elements in perfect balance. Over 90 minerals and trace elements, not just sodium and chloride. And so armed with this information, he sought to better understand how he might be able to bring that vitality from the oceans back into our food supply. And so that brings us to our first takeaway from this evening. Oceans are an incredible source of mineral nutrition and overall vitality for all living things. So Dr. Murray took all of this knowledge and all of this information, and he started doing a lot of research. And I say he's an incredible person because he started as a doctor and then actually quickly became a farmer. He moved from Chicago down to Florida, set up an entire research facility, and started working with ocean water as a fertilizer to see if he could remineralize soils and improve the overall nutrient density and quality of the foods that we were raising, whether it was produce, grains, pasture grass, and what have you. He was very successful in this regard. He was actually able to improve the overall quality and nutrient density of all of those things. And he began to share his learnings with the world and with the broader farming and homesteading population throughout the Great Plains and the Midwest. And along this time, he ran into some logistical challenges. If you look around the great state of Missouri, the great state of Iowa, it's wonderful farmland, but unfortunately, there's not a nearby ocean. And so Dr. Murray said, well, we need to figure out how to take the vitality of the ocean and make it more efficient to provide to all of these farmers and ranchers and homesteaders throughout the world. And so he discovered that there are certain parts in the world where you can create sea solids or unrefined sea salts that capture all of the mineral and trace element content of pure ocean water, but make it much less heavy to ship and much easier to transport into areas where there might not be an ocean nearby. And this is a different product than just a sea salt that you might find on a grocery store shelf. This is an unrefined sea salt that contains all of nature's minerals and trace elements, just like ocean water does, but without destroying that mineral and trace element content and destroying that life that actually comes with oceans. And this is a really cool image on the screen here. This is a photoelectric microscopic image of a C90 grain. And you can see that there's actually this source of life and electricity and vitality still captured within that grain of C90 that you would not see with just a grain of table salt or something of that nature. So this brings us to the question of why was Dr. Murray successful? He took ocean water, went against conventional practices at the time, and started using it as a nutrient source within agriculture. And he was successful because what he realized is that while there might not be a paper or something in the scientific community that says why every single one of nature's elements are important, he knew that they were put on this earth for a reason. And if they exist in nature, they must be important and they must play a role in the overall vitality and health of our food supply. And so, again, if you read in the scientific literature, you might hear about N, P, and K, and then a little bit of calcium and magnesium. You might reach maybe 20 total elements where there's documented reasons for introducing them into your soil fertility programs. But what Dr. Murray knew was that there's over 90 minerals and trace elements in the world. Our soil and the bacteria within our soil must need those for some reason. Our plants, our pastures, our produce must need those for some reason. Our animals must need them for some reason. And humans, of course, must need them as well. And so by introducing these minerals and trace elements back into areas where they were deficient, he was able to produce a regeneration of life, a return to the vitality that we had seen centuries prior. Just quickly, a little bit on where C90 is created. It's a unique part in the world where there's several different geological factors that result in a very unique sea salt product. We create C90 in the northeast part of the Baja Peninsula, and where the water source that we use is the Sea of Cortez. So we actually allow the lunar tides to bring the Sea of Cortez into these retention ponds that you can see here. And all we do to them is let the sun dehydrate and dry them out. And what that does is help preserve the overall mineral and trace element content within those sea salts and allows us to have a ultra low sodium chloride content and an ultra high mineral and trace element content. And it's really an incredible process that is a return to how salt was created historically. You might have heard of salt flats or just legacy salt production techniques. That is what we are doing at C90 and with BajaGold. We're using the natural, pure Sea of Cortez ocean water. There are several different factors that make that ocean water very mineral and trace element rich. And then we allow the sun to dry out the ocean, preserving the mineral and trace element content and providing an all-natural product that is very reminiscent of how salt used to be created many centuries and many millennia ago. C90 as a product stands alone on the market. There's over 90 minerals and trace elements, and they're balanced in nature's perfect proportions. We offer 5 to 10 times the mineral and trace element content of our competitors. And because C90 and BajaGold are based on living ocean water and are only solar dehydrated, they are very water soluble. So whether you're applying it to soil or feeding it to your animals, they go back into solution very readily. And that means that your soil microbiome or the rumen of your animal, or even your stomach as a human, they're able to digest and absorb those minerals and trace elements much faster than a traditional earth salt or table salt or anything else of that kind. I mentioned that C90 is unique in its mineral and trace element profile. This is an example of what we mean by that. We do a lot of third-party analysis to better understand the different salts that are on the market. And one of the key things that you want to look at is the sodium chloride content or the salt content relative to the mineral and trace element content. And so when I say that C90 is a unique product, it's because we have about 75 to 80% sodium chloride, whereas all other salts on the market are going to be around 90 all the way up to 99% sodium chloride. And the more of your product that is just pure salt, the less of your product that's available for the mineral and trace element content. And so I mentioned that the second key takeaway for this evening is that not all salts are created equal. And these types of laboratory analyses are what I'm referring to when we say that. Just to kind of put it into something that is kind of you can put kind of tangible to understand. If you people might be familiar with Redmond salt on the market versus C90. So to help visualize this, 7 pounds of C90 has the same amount of magnesium, potassium, and sulfur as 50 pounds of Redmond. And again, that is because we have lower sodium chloride and higher minerals and trace elements versus our competitors. C90 has a complete regenerative program of products that are all OMRI certified. So everything we do is all natural. It's organic certified throughout all of the organic bodies throughout the country, so that you can feel very safe and confident knowing that you're feeding your soils, your plants, your gardens, and your animals very healthy products that you are ultimately helping to feed your families with. So whether you are looking to supercharge your soil and restore that soil fertility and productivity, or if you're just looking to improve your produce and plant nutrient density, or if you are raising animals and you want to help unlock their genetic potential and improve their overall vitality, we have a C90 product for all of those needs on the homestead. And this brings us to kind of the tie between C90 and BajaGold, which is, of course, healthier soils, plants, and animals are all tied into human nutrition, and human nutrition is directly linked into human health. And there's some interesting correlations that were done throughout history where you begin to see these ties between agriculture practices and overall human health and wellness practices. And there's one here from Dr. Albrecht back in 1948 as it relates to soldiers from World War II and how certain parts of the country had much healthier dental records based on the way that they were treating their soils at the time. So just briefly before we wrap up, I do want to share a little bit about our sister brand, BajaGold Sea Salt. So BajaGold, for all intents and purposes, is created in the same exact way as C90 Ocean Minerals. And it has all of those same great properties in terms of low sodium chloride and high minerals and trace elements as C90. The way that it is different is that we actually package it and prepare it in a food grade facility. So all of these things are done to be able to market a food grade product. But in terms of the mineral and trace element content and the way that the product is created and harvested, it is very similar, if not identical, to our C90 product. So all of the things that I mentioned earlier about a complete array of minerals and trace elements, a living sea salt, all of those apply to our sister brand BajaGold as well. We believe BajaGold is the world's healthiest, most flavorful sea salt for your family. You can take a look at our website for more information on the sodium chloride levels relative to the magnesium, potassium, and other mineral and trace element levels, including a comprehensive breakdown of popular sea salts on the market today, so that you can choose the best sea salt for the nutritional needs for your family. We have an array of products that range from a table salt, a mineral sea salt that can be used throughout all cooking and baking purposes. We have a liquid ocean minerals health and wellness tincture. We offer a bath salt product, a soaking product, and even a sport and performance product as well for those long and warm days out on the homestead during the summertime. Where can you find C90 or BajaGold? So we have a wide array of distributors of C90 throughout the country for large scale quantities. You can also order it from us directly, or we've started partnering with Azure Standard in 2023. Actually, we're really excited about that partnership. And so both C90 and BajaGold are available through Azure Standard. And so you can have a really great price on the product delivered through the drop in your local area. And you can purchase both the C90 and the BajaGold products. And then this evening, we're going to be sponsoring a giveaway. So we're going to be sponsoring a bundling of our C90 Growers Series products, which is smaller products designed for the home and garden use. And then several of our products from the BajaGold product line that I mentioned. So our mineral sea salts, our liquid ocean minerals, and our bath salts as well. So the lucky winner will receive a C90 and a BajaGold sample pack. And with that, I just want to say thank you so much for the time this evening. I really appreciate the opportunity. And if there's any questions at all, I will be here throughout the evening to answer questions, or you can also reach out to our teams on our websites or via our social media, or you can call us. We're a small family business, and we love talking with people on the phone. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Michael. I actually have a wheel to do our giveaway now. So if you want to hang out with me, I have two things to say. One, I'm going to do this wheel. Second, I didn't really preface you guys with why Michael was here. Michael did sponsor our gathering tonight, and we're so thankful for that. Well, not him, the amazing companies he works for. But I looked outside and there was a cow staring at me. And so like threw Michael under the bus and ran outside. So that is why he is here. We do have a presentation tonight, but we're so thankful that you gave us a chance to come on and share your company. I think it is such a great product. So I'm excited for this giveaway. I am mildly annoyed I'm not allowed to enter. I almost thought about putting my name on the wheel, but I figured you all would see it. So I didn't. I was honest. But let's see who is going to be the lucky winner. Bum, 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 bum. Sure. That's so exciting. So, Michelle, I will get your email from the gathering and I'll get you in touch with Michael. This will be so exciting. Congratulations, girl. And Michael, thank you so much again. I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
Julie, and I also want to let our VIPs know that Michael and his company have offered a discount for our VIPs on their products.
Winning. So even if you didn't win tonight, you can still win with the discount code. We're all winning that way. That'll be my win. So congratulations to all of us, all VIP members, all of us on here. That was a great presentation. But I know who's going to have a great presentation too, because Brooke has been on here before. She really, really, really made me want to get back into meat rabbits because she did such a great presentation on it. So I'm really looking forward to tonight. So I'm about to bring her on, but 2 seconds before I do, I want to say this. We have a national gathering in person here in Oklahoma. So come hang out with me May 16th through the 18th. It is going to be at a very unique place that you would never, ever, 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 ever expect it to be at. It's going to be fantastic. There's going to be nature walks and sourdough and all kinds of things. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, which is never good, especially in the evening. But it is going to be jam-packed full of some amazing speakers. Ooh, compost. Natalie's going to do compost, and she's our original chapter here in Oklahoma. So I'm so excited. Make sure you check that out. The link is in the chat for you guys to join. But without me continuing to talk, I'd like to bring Brooke on. Brooke, are you hanging in there with me? Have I talked enough? Are you ready to stop hearing my voice? Let's see where she is. I'm going to unmute her. Bum, bum, bum. I'm sure she's around somewhere. There she is. Hey, Brooke.
Hey, can you see me?
I cannot see you. I see a screen that has some fun number. I see 4 or 5. I see 5 meeting with, but it's all backwards.
Hmm.
Gotta love technology. You just never know what you're gonna get.
Spirits.
I'll let you figure it out. I have more things I can talk about. I always have more things. So just pop on when you're ready. It's all good. It's still angry. Reminder about doing the question and answer function. So the Q&A lets Brooke keep track of your questions. It lets me keep track of your questions. Brooke is also going to give away
on the drop down. Do surface camera.
darn it. I don't know why it keeps muting me. I guess because I tried to mute Brooke, it muted myself. Sorry, I'm just sitting here talking. I was going to say, if you need more information on what Jenny was talking about with the board or with the executive staff, make sure you fill out that application. Reach out to any of the executive staff members. We are beyond happy to help you. We love having people on our team. I think you all know that if you get to go to a local gathering, it is really fun to meet with people. And if you can't meet with them in person, then you come here and that'll just give you an extra time to meet as well. So I'm glad I'm back. One of these days, I'm going to figure out this technology thing and it's going to be fine. But that's, neither here nor there. As I've mentioned before with our YouTube channel, all of our previous gatherings are on our YouTube channel. So if you have anything that you're like, oh, I really want to do that, or oh, I want to learn about that, make sure you check it out. We do send out a survey after these national gatherings that help me and the executive staff pick the topics for the following year. And this year I saw there was a ton of people that wanted information about chickens. No surprise, chickens are the gateway animal. I shouldn't say what I was going to say, but they are a gateway animal. So if you need some information on there, there's 2 gatherings on that. There's information on freeze drying. That's another one that I get a lot of stuff for. So there's some fun DIY things as well. So make sure you check out that YouTube channel. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. So Charlene is on here, and Charlene is one of the committee members for the gathering here coming up in Oklahoma. So she has said there's gardening in the Midwest, composting, homestead natural foods, basic food preservation, sourdough. I mean, there's so many things. Poultry health. With all the weird diseases going on, poultry health is a great one to be available. And homestead plants. So one of my favorite things about the national gatherings is there's so many awesome topics like this that a lot of times when you go to these types of events, you have to sacrifice one or the other. You have to sourdough and poultry health are at the same time. Here, they may be at the same time, but we offer the same talks in morning and the afternoon, so you don't have to sacrifice missing one or the other. You can go to one in the morning and then you can go to one in the afternoon. So it gives you a chance to do all of the things that you want to do, learn all the things you want to learn without having to sacrifice anything else. So that's one of my favorite things. So come hang out with me here in Oklahoma. We're going to have a great time. And May is always an interesting time here in Oklahoma. You never know what kind of weather you're going to get. I'm banking on beautiful sunshine. And it's on a lake, so we could go fishing or we could go hiking together. You can come see my weird homestead. You never know what's going to be up here in Oklahoma. So come hang out with me. I've also already talked about our, our private online community. There we go. Spit words out, Julie. If you are not part of our private online community, go check it out. There's so much amazing knowledge. Yeah. It's her friend who's here to help out tonight. Okay, I'm gonna unmute you. Now you guys don't have to hear me anymore. You're still muted, Brooke, so I'll give you a second to unmute. And then you won't have to listen to me talk anymore, but go join. Yay, there's that pretty lady. I'm so glad you're
Perfect.
here.
Well, I'm so glad to be here with you guys. So I will do a little bit about me. I joined Ladies Homestead Gathering back in the day. It's been over 10 years now. I met Cindy Ball through my husband, who I gave him a beekeeping course. I did not realize that I was giving myself a new life path during this time. And so he kept coming back to me and he was like, you really need to meet this lady named Cindy. Like, you already do a lot of things that she is like encouraging ladies to do, and she wants to meet you. And I was like, okay, but I'm not doing any of that hippie stuff. But spoiler alert, I did all the hippie stuff, like every single hippie thing I do. But I currently teach nutrition and food science at a local high school. So I'm a family and consumer sciences teacher. Some of you may have had a home ec class back in the day. That's kind of the rebranding of that. I have a 3-acre microfarm with my husband, my 4 kids, and I do a lot of canning, preserving, all that kind of stuff. So I was asked to talk about culinary wellness, and I was like, well, where do we want to go? So if you have questions please use the Q&A feature at the bottom. And Julie's going to, so then I don't have to squint because my eyes have hit middle-aged. So that being said, I'm going to jump right in and ask you, what is your why? Why are you curious about culinary wellness? What are some goals that you have for you and your family? And where are you on your homestead journey? That makes a big difference. I think a lot of us seek homesteading because we know that something's broken about either our food system or our health system, and we're looking for answers. And so I ask, what is your why? And I also am curious if your home is an ingredient home, or is your pantry yelling at you when you open it? Or is it full of logos and boxes and advertisements in your pantry? My kids always make fun of me because they say, Mama, there's no food here to eat, just ingredients. And that's actually one of the highest compliments that I could have for my kids, is for them to be to know that there are ingredients and that they should be cooking and eating those kind of ingredients. And then the next question I would have to ask you is, what are your family's wellness needs? I know a lot of people that I've met through LHG, their family needs are very much because they have an issue, whether it's celiac disease, whether it's type 2 diabetes, whether it's healing from cancer. There's a lot of different reasons people are on this wellness journey. And so knowing what your reasoning is really going to frame kind of how you're going to start cooking for your family. And then what is your comfort level with cooking? Are you like, Betty Crocker, or more like a rotisserie Jane, that you want to grab the rotisserie that's already cooked and use that in your kitchen? And you just need to be honest about that. I did not become a cook in a day. It took me at least 15 years before I felt like I could just go in and grab things out of my refrigerator. And so I don't want you to think, oh, well, you just pull things out and make something. And yes, I'm hopefully going to teach you a couple of really great skills tonight, but also I want you to know that didn't happen in a day. Okay. So now let's talk about nutrition. I am not a medical doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. What I'm doing is giving you nutrition information so that you can make really great decisions for your family. And a lot of things have changed. If you're like me, I think I had one lesson in my PE class when I was in high school about nutrition. And it was that weird my pyramid thing, that if you have done any research, it actually is like the exact thing that you would need to eat in order to like fatten up a pig. And I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it was like 11 grains a day or something. Like we were just eating grains all the time. And the USDA has actually gone in and revamped all of those. And they have come up with, I believe, a much simpler way to look at your plate. It's called My Plate, all one word. So you can go and look at the USDA's website. And basically, this is like the simplest version of my plate. I teach about my plate in about 3 weeks in my classroom. And this is like a 5-minute like summary of the things. But mostly what you need to know is that half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. Okay. And if you think about your plate as a circle, over half your plate needs to be fruit and vegetables. Then your grains and your meat, especially your meat, should be more like a flavoring and an addition to what you're eating. Okay. And so a lot of us grow our own meat, and I am definitely a meat eater. We raise our own rabbits, but as a whole, the United States consumes way more meat than any other country on the planet. And to me, if you're trying to raise sustainable meat, you, as a good steward, would eat less. And your body doesn't need as much meat. So your body can only process between 25 and 30 grams of protein at a time. So if you're eating huge portions of meat, you're not even able to use that protein in your body. So again, being a good steward of what we're growing and what we're purchasing is fantastic. And then dairy, of course, is kind of like the trendy thing to not do dairy. Do dairy. I really feel like in my homesteading journey that when I got dairy goats, it was like the pinnacle, like I had become a real farmer. And we do keep our goats in milk about 8 to 9 months out of the year. And I love dairy. So unless you have some issue with dairy, you should be eating a serving of dairy at every meal. And so that is the USDA requirements. A couple other things that I want to let you know about nutrition is that you should also be drinking water every day. Shocking. We're 70% water. But my recommendation really is that you start your day before you put anything else in your body. Fill it with a cup or two. If you can get a whole 2 cups down, that's what I would suggest, to start your day with that, because all of your functions in your body cannot happen without water. And so if you start and end your day with water, you're going to do a lot to help clean out your digestive tract. You're going to be able to clean out your skin. It's going to make your brain function better. And so I highly recommend, the recommendation is, if you're not an athlete, which I'm not, if you're not an athlete, you should drink half of your body weight in water in ounces a day. So let's do, for example, if you weigh 150 pounds, half of that is 75. And so you should drink 75 ounces of water a day. So I know we always hear on the news, drink 8 cups of water, 8 glasses of water a day. It really depends on your size. And if you are going to be, we're homesteaders. If you're out and it's hot, of course you need to drink more water. If you're sitting in your house and you're cozy and warm and you're not sweating, you probably don't need to drink as much. But the rule of thumb is to have half your body weight in ounces of water a day. So I don't know if you've ever heard that. I feel like that's one of those things they don't really share a lot out in social media. And then this is always a question I get asked: what is the best diet? What diet would you recommend? I will say that is different for every single household. But I will say that scientifically, the best diet, at least for the past 7 years, ranking all different kinds of stuff, is the Mediterranean diet. And if there's a lot of different documentaries out there. The 100-year-old documentary that's out right now on Netflix is a great one. And it really kind of looks at the blue zones. And what they found is that the Mediterranean diet is so great because you are eating fresh fruits and vegetables grown locally. You are having good fats that are not processed. So you're having olive oil. You are eating whole grains that you are making into things like pasta and bread. You're not buying them ultra processed at the store. And that you're eating fish in your diet. Okay. And so having all of those things is essential to having a nice, well-rounded diet. Okay. Any questions thus far? How are we doing on questions? Good. I don't think I didn't see any. There's some comments in the chat, but I just wanted to see if I had any questions before we get going. Okay, so I think we're good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on now to where to start. So as a homesteader, what I would say is the first thing you do is take inventory of what you keep on hand. So I know homesteaders that have the beautiful canning pantries, right? And then there are the homesteaders who they have to buy everything at the store, or they live in apartments, or they're, trying to make do with what they have, or they're on limited income. All of those things, you just need to take into account what you currently have on hand. The next thing you want to do is you want to find places in your community that you can supplement your nutrition. And by that, I mean, reach out into your community, reach out to those homesteaders and ask them, like, what do you grow? What can I buy from you? What can we trade? The State-Owned Homestead chapter is huge on bartering and trading. So I might take some of my goat milk and trade it for some eggs if my hens aren't laying, or I might trade some of my rabbit for some pork from another friend. And so it's very important to reach out into the community, because a lot of us have chosen to live a lifestyle, or we're seeking to live a lifestyle that is true to our own values. And so making that community a priority is super beneficial. Also, don't forget about your co-ops, your farmers markets, local farms, y'all. If they have a little stand set up, now not every place is going to be organic or heirloom seeds, but it's worth reaching out to them, because I'm telling you, if you know the guy who grows it, the food is going to be way more accessible to you. And it's going to be a lot fresher than even the organic stuff that you might be buying at the store. So kind of take that into account. And then, what do you already have preserved? And so if you watch me on my rabbit class, I told you that I raise rabbits, and a lot of people are like, okay, rabbit's not the typical homestead meat, but it really works for us in our 3-acre homestead. But this is one of the things that I'm most proud of, which seems really bizarre, y'all. But it is canned rabbit on the bone that I raw pack. And so I always have this in my pantry. I love it because if the power goes out, it's good. It's ready. It's already cooked. I use it for rabbit pot pie, rabbit dumplings, rabbit casserole, rabbit tetrazzini, anything that I would normally use shredded chicken in. I can use my rabbit. But also, my green beans, pickled peppers. I've recently got into using dried beans and canning them. They're excellent. They make great soups and stews. And then tomatoes are always a win for me. But having stuff that's already preserved by you is really essential in keeping the level of produce that you want. And so once you kind of have taken stock of all of those things, I highly recommend you make a plan. And I've been a big meal planner for a long time. I have a family of 6. So when I'm talking about meal planning and meal prepping, I'm doing it for 6 of us. Like I said, we're an ingredients household. But a lot of times I will keep a running list on my refrigerator, on my dry erase board, of what things are in the freezer. Another great tip that I have for you is that if you do have a lot of stuff frozen, and I know I saw a lot of Idaho on, I saw a lot of Oklahoma on. If you have a freezer full of meat, a great way to do it is pull out 3 or 4 cuts of meat and stick it in a casserole dish in your fridge so it's thawed during the week. So when you get home, you're not like, oh, I wish I would have taken something out. It's already waiting for you, and have a plan for it and have all the stuff pulled out. So it's not unusual if you come into my house that I would have all my canned stuff on the island for each day. So when I get home, all I have to do is pull the meat out of the fridge and mix my canned stuff together and maybe make some biscuits or some bread to go with it. And it's super, it keeps me very accountable. And so I was just talking to my friend Lauren that they have a lot of frozen stuff, and she goes, we just forget. And so it's easier to run by the store or pick something up than it is to get something out and thaw it. So I know some of these seem very, I don't want to say basic, because I think it's things that we don't always think about, we don't talk about, and we don't make it a habit or a rhythm. And it really is what it takes to make your diet what you want it to be. So I do teach home economics or family consumer sciences. And one of my favorite things to do is demo. And Cindy had said, hey, can you show them something? And one of the biggest homestead skills that I have is kind of my biggest homestead flex. If y'all don't know, like the flex thing, it's a very TikTok, Instagram thing. And my students say, like, what's your biggest flex? My biggest flex is that I can break down a chicken in about 6 minutes. Now, Gordon Ramsay can do it in 2 blindfolded, but I think doing it in 6 is pretty impressive. It's also one of those things that I think people don't think they can do. And also, if you ever raise meat chickens, you have to process them and they don't come off in pieces. Like it comes all together. So I did buy this one at the store because it's a whole thing. And actually we haven't done meat chickens in 2 years because our meat rabbits have been doing so incredibly well. So this is a store-bought chicken. I'm also hopefully going to give you a bunch of tips as I'm going through this that's going to help you out. I'm going to aim this down just a little bit so you can see the chicken and not so much meat. All right. So what I do with my students is I tell them, and again, this is my big flex. If y'all don't know what that means, y'all got to look it up, like Google it. It's really funny. All right. I think, can y'all see? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see? Yeah, they can see fine. All right. So if you buy it at the store, it's going to have this little gross packet of goodness in it. Do not throw this gross packet of goodness away. We are going to put this in our bowl for later because it's going to go into a stock at some point. It's usually the neck, which has a lot of flavor and some other pieces. Okay, so when we're talking about our chicken, I hold it up like this and I say, okay, meet our chicken. And I like wave at the chicken. And I said, okay, the chicken is just like you. And so in my class, we sit on stools because we have the like tall bar tables. And I say, okay, so take a look at this chicken. It's sitting down just like you. Okay. And so these are the legs and the drumsticks. Now, a lot of kids have never seen a whole chicken just like this, but, or they don't realize where the pieces come from. And so this is like an aha moment, like, oh, this is where our chickens are like coming from. So I said, these are our arms, but these are their wings, right? And then these are their thighs right here. So I make them touch their thighs, their drumsticks or their calves and their wings. And I say, these are your breasts. I said, gentlemen, these are your pecs. So just so you know. And so what I show them is exactly how I get this chicken into 8 pieces. Okay. Hopefully you have seen this before. If not, I hope you try this at home. Buying a whole chicken is so much more economical, and you get to decide how you want to cut. So what I'm going to do first is take off the legs. If you just lean them over very gently, and you're going to go all the way under, I say under the armpit, and you're going to follow it around. Okay. And there's actually a line of fat. I don't know if you can see that right there. There's a line of fat. If you follow it, it helps you to completely get the thigh off. And then you're going to hear it, and I'm going to pop it. Hang on. This way. I'm trying to get it so you can see. Thank you. All right. And then I pop that open. Once you see the bone right there, you're just going to use that to cut all the way down. Okay. So if you buy chicken quarters at your store, this is what a chicken leg quarter is. Okay. But it's really the drumstick and the thigh. Now you can easily separate this, and I'll do it in just a second, by following this fat line right here. Okay. So let me go ahead and divide this up. And I'm just going down that fat line until I can pull that bone apart where you can see where the knuckle kind of goes in. Then again, I'm going to follow this fat line on this side. I hope no one's timing me.
Your demo, that's different.
Huh?
Your demo.
Yeah. All right. All right. So then we have our drumstick. You can choose to take the skin off or on. I always say leave it on because skin has fat and fat equals flavor. And so again, I'm just going to do that down this other side. I'm going to do this really quickly this way, which is not a great view for you, but it's way easier for me. Okay, so you see how quick that is? And a lot of people think that this is like takes so much time. And if you realize you can really get this done in the first time you do it, it's probably going to take about 15 minutes. You can debone the thigh at this point. If you know you want to use it somewhere else, you just pull the bone out of there. Thank you. So my friend Lauren is letting me use her kitchen because it's way more beautiful than mine. and it doesn't have a loud parrot. I have a macaw, and he likes to talk this time of night. So this just, I said, can I come and use your beautiful kitchen? And now she's like being my sous chef too. There's the wing. Can you hear it crackling? So I'm just trying to loosen it up so that I can go in there. There we go. And pull it off. Now, if you are prepping these wings to be used for, like to make wings with, you would want to separate the drum from the flat. I have to be really careful. This is my like super sharp knife. I really only want to cut through the chicken meat. Okay, and so if you're separating the drum from the flat, you're gonna just take that, go right into the elbow, like remember what we're talking about, the elbow, and then pop it. This is when the boys in my class get real nervous because I don't have any problem in the world breaking an arm. I tell them I have 3 beautiful girls. None of them are on the market, for them anyway. And then they get kind of nervous about like me in general, but it's fine. That's fine, right, Lauren? All right. How many of you do this at home? How many of you already process your own chickens? You throw the raw wings in the doggy dish. Those are some very pampered dogs.
I freeze my necks and collect a few for stock.
Oh, that's a great tip. Sorry, this wing does not want to separate.
Amy Lammers gave you a shout out. She says you rock with your menu board every week. Yes, she does. She keeps us all accountable.
Well, that is more for keeping myself accountable. But if you have a friend group, sharing what you're making sometimes helps to break that stagnant, like eating the same thing for dinner. Lauren does Taco Tuesdays, and we'll roll that into her meal the next day, which I think is great. But you can mix it up and do like Mexican Mondays. All right, so now I'm at the breast. Okay, I'm gonna do it this way. So this is the neck here. I'm gonna go straight down the middle and let the knife choose a side because I'm gonna go down the breastbone. And if I had to bet money, I would say this is a Cornish cross chicken. Okay.
Sheila says she has chicken on the bone that she raw packs canned, and it is very convenient.
Yes, so you can do the same thing with the chicken that you do with the rabbit. Highly recommend. I went down the wrong side of that button. There we go. Okay, the other thing about doing this is if you don't do it great, you're going to throw this in the stock, and then you can pull it out after you make stock out of it and take whatever meat is left off the bone. So I highly recommend doing that as well. It will really save you. And I'm going all the way down to the side. This chicken is really massive. Okay, so when I have it here, a lot of times what I do is I show my students that if you flip it over, there's this little section right here, and I lift it up, and I show them this is the chicken tender. Okay, they don't know that that's the chicken tender. So a lot of times that falls off in meat production, and so that's why they sell them separately. If they want a full breast, they'll leave it in there, and it makes the breast bigger, but if it falls out, they just throw it to the side, and it goes in on a tender tray. So at this point, you can leave it whole. You can butterfly it, which I really like to do. You just lay it flat, cut it across, and then you can pound it out if you're going to do it that, or use it to roll stuffing in or anything like that. But that's a huge chicken breast. That's like 3 or 4 servings of chicken breast right there. And then we're just going to do the same thing on this side. Follow down the rib bone.
Brittany says they raise their own chickens and they throw 40-ish wings into a food saver and call it a party pack. I'm thinking you
Oh.
might need to get that out this weekend for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And also, if you are processing chickens, so I know it's way easier to just go ahead and do all of them at the same time. Like, I get it. But if you take 6 out and do 6 of these like this, and then you can have, 6 double packs of breast, 12 thighs, 12 wings, 12, it makes enough for a whole family. I think a lot of times people just choose not to do that. Again, let me show you this breast again. Because a lot of people don't realize this. Okay. So I want you to see it. So there's the chicken breast right here. You know that tendon that we all hate in the chicken breast? You'll see it. All I'm doing is pulling that off, and that's the chicken tender. Okay. So you can put all the chicken tenders in a container, and then you can have all your breasts in a container. Hang on one second. Let me.
And then Teresa says she cuts her pulley bone before she cuts the breast. I think I read that right. I don't have my glasses on.
All right. So now my chicken is done. And what I would normally do if I was at home is I would make a sheet pan meal. I am a sheet pan princess. I like to do a lot of prep work and then be done and have things ready to go. So I would slice up all of my peppers. I would put most of the peppers on one side.
Is this all you wanted this for?
Yeah, I'll put this in there. There we go. And then I would make all of my veggies on 1 or 2 sheet pans. If you already have the knife out, if you already have the cutting board out, if you already have all your produce bought for the week, go ahead and chop it up, put it either in resealable bowls or Ziploc baggies, and then put it on a sheet tray, and you can go ahead and cook for the week. Okay. I mean, like 2 sheet pans in the oven at the same time. And like I said, I put peppers here, broccoli here, butternut squash there, red onions, whatever. You can do it with salt and pepper and add your flavors at the end, or you can season them differently. So like I have a Greek seasoning that I'll make up. I have a like an Italian seasoning. I have a Mexican seasoning that's like a fajita mix. You can add your meat on the pan if you want. A lot of times we'll put it in the crock pot and just have it going all day, so that all I have to do is heat my veggies up at the end. And then also you'll want to grain with that. I won VIP membership gift back in July, I think, and I won the sourdough starter kit. I could not start using it until December because I was teaching and my schedule was crazy. And so my goal was to get like fluent in sourdough, if that's the thing. And so I've been making 2 loaves of bread every week. I make the dough one day and then I leave it in the fridge until I'm ready to bake it. So then I have fresh bread 2 different days during the week. So I don't have a lot of bread going stale. I can make it when I'm ready. And again, it's about getting into a rhythm where you are in control of your meals and in control of your time, and you can actually enjoy cooking. I find that if you really are rushed and you feel like you're behind the 8 ball, you're not enjoying cooking. Whereas if I know that I'm going to get home, take out all my produce from the farmer's market, go ahead and chop it up for the day, not only am I more relaxed and we'll probably have a glass of wine and, really take my time and just enjoy myself, I also am setting my future self up for success when it comes to eating healthy. So I've been talking now for about 40 minutes. I wanted to leave a couple minutes for you guys to ask any questions. If you have diet specific questions, family specific questions, I really would love to help you maybe think through some ways that you can implement really healthy culinary wellness into your current schedule.
Also, you talk about discard, because that was one thing that you're like, I can do this, I can do the discard.
Oh yeah, if you are saying like, oh, sourdough bread, that's 6 hours of my time. The sourdough bread is time consuming, but using the discard, which if you're feeding your dough, having some go-to recipes. One of my favorites is a discard muffin recipe, which my kids love, and they can take it to school. And then they're eating something that I know is whole grain. I know it's fermented. It does have cinnamon sugar on the top, but that's their favorite. You can do it with any kind of fruit in there. And then I also have other things like biscuits and crackers. And so I really love those different options with the discard. That's not a long ferment and it's a fast recipe.
Amy Lammer says she makes a lot of discard fry bread with different spices.
Yeah, I did tortillas 2 nights ago, and they were super easy, and it was a discard recipe. And so there are things that you can do if you're trying to implement and do some more fermented foods. Fermented foods is a whole nother passion of mine, but that is not the topic for today. The discard muffin recipe I use is from Farmhouse on Boone. So we can definitely, she's got a million, but the cinnamon discard recipe, muffin recipe is so good.
I got a question via email about any suggestions for someone who's newly diagnosed with diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Do you have any ideas of where they could start eating a bit healthier?
Number one, you have to be mindful of your carbohydrates. And I'm not a big numbers person, but knowing your numbers and knowing what spikes your glucose level is super important. So when I said half your plate fruit and vegetables, you're going to want to do fruits like peppers and tomatoes and not fruits like oranges. Oranges are okay to have if you're having a low blood sugar time, but the bulk of your meal, you're going to want slow digesting carbohydrates like winter squash, broccoli, and not things that are going to spike your blood sugar. So I would highly recommend avoiding all white sugar, all white flour, and all white potatoes. Avoiding those it helps to take off. You can do other things in place of them. Sweet potatoes are better than white potatoes. Doing a whole grain and a fermented whole grain actually helps to slow that down, and also to start with protein and fat before you introduce carbohydrates into your system. It actually helps to slow the absorption and slow the sugar spike. So I hope that's helpful.
And Melody says she makes sourdough discard crackers so quick and easy. Are those that you did too? They're so good.
Yeah, those are so good. And they have discard Cheez-Its, which are phenomenal. I really like the cheese, cookie cutters, because they're so cute. But those are next on my list to make. Anyone else have some questions? Oh, there's a question in the Q&A. Hang on. It's in a separate chat box. What is discard? I'm late to the discard party. Never too late for the discard party. So discard is when you feed your sourdough. It has to eat something and then it rises. And when it rises, that's the best time to make bread. But then as soon as it falls, you have to still take some out before you feed it again. So that part you take out is called discard. And that's what you can use to make other things. It's a whole different rabbit trail than the regular sourdough. So if sourdough is too intimidating, just go the discard route. I mentioned using chicken. Hang on one second.
So that you mentioned that chicken was likely a Cornish cross. Do you have a preference on Cornish cross or Rangers? Size difference, that type of thing?
I've had the most luck with Cornish cross. I know Cindy did a lot of work with the Rangers, and you just get much more meat. I will tell you that I have much better access and much better luck with our rabbits, because you don't have to heat them. You don't have to order them. They raise their own babies, so you actually don't feed them until they're about 4 to 6 weeks when they start eating. And then how about gut health repair and balance? Bone broth for gut health. Bone broth is such a healing place to start. Also, you may want to look into autophagy, which is spelled AUTOPHAGY. And that is kind of like intermittent fasting, but it allows your whole digestive system time to heal before you introduce food to it. And so I just think that would be a good way if you're really having some gut health issues. You might also want to try an elimination diet to see what specifically is flaring up your gut health. So, all right. Any other questions for me? I hope that you learned something. I always say if you've learned one thing, it was worth your time. It was worth me coming. So I hope you did. I would love to, if you'd put one thing you learned in the chat, so I know that that maybe I was beneficial to you in some way. Yes, thank you, June, for putting autophagy in there.
Yes, I thought you did great, Brooke. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your knowledge. You're always an amazing speaker, so thank you so much. Yes, chicken tenders. I didn't know that either, so I'm glad to you share that. I've processed many a bird and had no idea. So yay, thank you so much for sharing that. I so appreciate it. All right, ladies, we are coming to the end of our amazing gathering tonight. Thank you all so much for coming. Come back next month for medicinal gardening. I have a very fun title for it on our website and on our private online community. And June has dropped the link right there. So make sure you go check it out. I'm really excited about that. It's one of our most popular topics. If you know someone who would be a good speaker, or if you would be a good speaker, I am still on the search for an amazing speaker. I have a post going live tomorrow about it in the community. So reach out to me at media@nlhg.org or call me. I don't care. You can find me just about any place, or send me a message on Mighty Networks. I would be happy to talk to you about when it is, what magic I need from you. So thank you guys so much. I hope that you have an amazing night. I want to thank, again, Brooke for coming. I want to thank Michael. I want to thank Jenny. And of course, June, because our membership director is making sure you guys have an amazing VIP member appreciation month. I hope you all have a fabulous February, and I will see you back here next month. Thank you, guys.